Not even death can save you from the dark. You truly have become trapped within the mists.
So, this creature, still in its hybrid wolf form, lies limp, and its great weight now strains your hand, and rather than struggling against your grip, you now struggle to hold up the bulk of this 7-foot-tall, half-man, half-wolf hybrid. Raziel.
Okay, hold on. Here I have. I do. Yes! Like Batman, I pull out some manacles and bind his hands together behind him.
All right. The werewolf is
and then I slap him awake, or attempt to.
All right. Roll me.
Wake up, you foul beast!
Roll me a medical slap as you attempt to bring this werewolf around to consciousness.
Oh, yes. Those.
Yes, a medical
Sure.
slap. No, not an unarmed strike. Roll medical.
Nope.
Oh, medical.
Yeah,
Right.
it's done. He
Didn't hear that.
punched him in the
Bring him
face.
back in.
Okay, it's better.
All right, perfect. The creature seems to stir to life as it opens one of its eyes, wincing at the blow.
Rest your live, foolish.
And it strains against the manacles. But it cannot break these cuffs.
I grab it by its throat. He will tell me everything. No. Now!
I will not betray my pack, human.
Kind of coming around from behind Raziel, I place my hand upon his waist. Relax. Calm. Please. This will get us nowhere. There are many ways of extracting information from him, and one does not require throttling him so that he can barely speak. Now, Raziel, calm. Calm. This is a cursed creature. This is somebody with an awful ailment. We should treat them as such. Now,
Sorry.
he is shackled, so he is no longer a threat. Place him upon the ground, and we'll have a word with him.
Throw him to the ground.
As you are shackling and beating our captive, I'd like to come up and ask the two of you, you want to make him talk? I can make him talk.
Calliope, come now. That's not...
There's a spell. He won't be harmed.
You can try, girl.
I would like to attempt to cast Zone of Truth.
I fold my arms up. If that doesn't work, we'll start taking it apart piece by
All
piece
right. Let me
until
find
the truth
my
comes out.
werewolf stat block real quick. It's gonna roll a charisma saving throw against your zone of truth. You can feel the magic take effect over the werewolf. The werewolf seems to take notice itself.
What have you done?
Nothing, just we have some questions, and I would much rather you answer them without my friend here getting a little too slap happy. And you may have it. The floor is yours, guys. I don't know what we should ask this abomination.
Why ask anything? As you said, it's a beast, an abomination. Is this usually what you do? Talk to your quarry? What good can any information from him possibly pose to us?
This land is sick, just like this man is, and just simply giving him a chance won't harm us or anything else. It won't take but a minute, will it?
Why give him a chance? He cares for his pack and only that. He is a monster. You cannot rid this land of its monsters, and while that one in that castle lives. This is a fool's errand. We are wasting time.
And we're also wasting this spell. We only have 10 minutes. Ask your questions.
Each clue is but a piece of the larger puzzle. And when we are done asking, we will finish him. So tell us, while you still yet live, where is your pack? Who commanded them to kill the Markov?
After Raziel's question, Esme just sort of rubs her temples and walks away, and she sort of hides the fact that she is getting a crossbow bolt ready.
You see a snarled smile cross over the werewolf's gnarled face. Its lips split by one of the blows it received during the battle.
My pack hunts you, but that's no secret from you. And you want to know who leads it, you'll find out soon enough.
Tell me now, and I slap him across the face again.
All right.
Names!
Roll an intimidation check.
There's no need. Before he strikes him. There's no need, Raziel. Ugh. Gods.
The werewolf receives the blow across his wounded lips and lets out a snarled whine involuntarily. And he cows slightly.
My packmaster is known as Kirill.
And is he the one laying dead right over there? I kind of lazily gestured towards the wolf that Calliope slew.
No, that was an outlander. Recently changed. New to the pack, his blood was impure. If Kirill were here, that would be your body. Small one.
I'm sure. So,
Slap him again. And who does he serve?
Gods above.
He serves... Well, we all serve the Night Mother. But we serve the master of this land as well. The true leader of this cursed land. But you know who that is.
Yes. We all know quite well of Strahd. Fought him toe-to-toe, now twice. Please, there's no need for these theatrics. Just answer the rest of my violent friend's questions, and he'll be on your way.
He is not
Azael?
leaving here alive, and he knows it.
How does
This
he
is
have
an
to be decided?
interrogation, Talandra,
We're not.
and sometimes a hard hand is needed. Now,
Continue then.
what is your pack's next move?
Killing you, of course.
Kind of gesture, like, at Raziel, as if to say, super useful.
Where did they hide?
He grows quiet.
Spell is not guaranteed. You can choose to.
Nice. Drop them again. Tell me.
Another one of those, and I'll be joining the rest. Easy there, boy. You want to know where you can go and die? Our den is in the mountains, west of Lake Baratuk, deep in the snows. Though one like you will probably die to the weather before you get there.
Satisfied, Raziel?
Yes. And it is
Frozen
your
blood has
death.
never stopped my back from feasting on flesh. Go,
Well, you shall feast no
feed our
longer,
young.
Before
Man.
you
and nor shall your
Now,
pack. And I point to Esme.
Oh,
one question.
Oh.
Before we end his life, I would like to put the flat of my silver sword to his skin to see if it does anything.
Jesus Christ! It's not a paladin move. Fuck.
I'm
I
gonna have to redemption.
smile with noticeable enjoyment.
At this moment,
Oh.
as all of this is going down and I see the aggression rising, I subtly from the background look up from my tipped hat and I mutter a few words. And let me just read exactly. Okay. The words I mutter, you hear some words just sort of floating in Sunny's voice coming from somewhere behind you, just loud enough to make up. But it's almost as if the words are tangible, a physical form. You can feel them go around you. You can sense them, but they do not enter your ears. They are intended for other ears. And the words that I mention, the words that I say while I cast suggestion are cooperate. These are friends. Give them all the information they seek, truthfully. And I will cast this. And he's got a wisdom save of 13 on this.
All right. He's gonna fail that. And your suggestion was cooperate?
Cooperate. These are friends. Give them all the information they seek, truthfully.
Double truth coming down. Zone of truth and suggestion.
That's
Jeez.
that's pretty powerful shit.
I can command him too if you want.
That's a pretty fucking strong.
Talon's just standing there, like, while everyone's like, "Tell us, tell us, tell us." He's told us. Told us everything. He's been one.
Raziel stands back.
cooperative.
He's already given Esme the kill order.
you don't order me to do anything, boy. I'm waiting to kill him myself. You're the ones that just want to play with him. I just want to end him.
Is this what we do?
There is no
here?
playing girl.
Raziel, calm. Is this what you do? Is this what we all do here? We stand around a person. Sure, he is cursed, and sure, he did attack us, and sure, he also
Esme
did.
shoots the werewolf.
Christ.
All right, roll your attack, Esme.
Is there anything else you would like to?
And the crossbow bolt leaves the crossbow. 13.
That just cracks me up
That-
still. I don't know why. The branch falling. Had me sitting there.
Does
Well, keep
does
prone.
him
Do I
being
get him?
shackled?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what's
As said.
happening?
If he's prone, you get disadvantage on the attack.
No, he's not prone. Yeah. Okay, so what's going on? Someone's getting tackled? Sorry, did I miss something?
No.
Okay,
No.
so a 13 lands. Go ahead and roll your damage. And this is with a silver bolt. Okay. Yeah. So, where does the bolt land for the lethal strike on the werewolf in the middle of his
In its
sentence?
mouth as he's trying to talk.
All right. So, poof.
Like I want to pierce and like fill his throat with the thickness of the crossbow bolt.
His last word is gagged as the bolt
My
lands square into the back of his throat.
I
And he
just kind
falls
of
back
wince.
into the mud as the rain begins to fall overhead.
Raziel, is this what you've become?
This is what I've always been. Justice is hard and cold.
So this is...
There is no room, Delandra, in these matters for us to dilly-dally in niceties. We are in a land that seeks to consume us. We must be the consumers.
Oh,
And
because it
reap
seems like you're the one being consumed. That's all. I don't know a man of justice personally in my life, and I can promise you, young one, that I have met many more men of justice than you have. And I can assure you that none of them stand over the corpse of or the near corpse of a fallen enemy and play games and decide how and when to kill them and torture them with the flat of a blade. Why, just because he's a corrupted creature? It seems like you are becoming just as corrupted every day.
They have chosen their path. And I am close in knowing what my actions do. Would you really think that this beast, this corrupted being, would be safe if you cured him? Would he not be shamed by others? He would be an outsider. If anything, we did him a service.
It's not your decision to make. And it never has been, and never will be.
Why is it your decision to do the
I don't.
inverse?
I leave decisions up to the people who they are for. I don't make decisions. I patch people up, and I allow them to walk away and have a second chance.
In the name of
You
your
people-
God?
Then I'm wrong.
All
But
I say is that they may be consumed by darkness, but you are consumed also. What makes you any better than they? And Esme sort of just leans forward and plucks out with a really wretched like twist and crack the silver bolt. And as she pulls it, like a stream of the blood congealed will like slap all over Talandra's already crimson stained tunic. Almost intentionally.
So you put a period on that action. The shape, the wolf form of the hybrid slowly begins to reform, reverting back into the shape of a muscular, nude human male. His eyes roll back in his head, his mouth hanging wide and open. You see a thick beard on his chin and a thick, unkept head of hair. But the
Is he
monster...
attractive?
Is he attractive? He's muscular, he's grizzled with scars, and he's somewhat broad and large of a man, and no later in his years than 30. It depends on your type, but he could be an attractive, wild-looking man, though he's less attractive covered in blood and open wounds and his mouth hanging back with thick globs of blood still pouring from the corners of his open maw.
Okay, well, if he's kind of classically attractive, as he's transforming and Esme's reaching into his mouth, she'll tenderly sort of stroke his cheek. Such a shame. And then pull out the bolt wretchedly, with zero care.
Okay, well. I kind of just kneel down at this man. Safe travels. Cursed one. Safe travels. And then I reach into my pocket and I grab the last scroll that I have. And it's all wrapped up and bound. And I turn and I kind of angrily smash it into Calliope's hands. You do our father a disservice with your actions. And I don't even allow her to respond. I just kind of leave the vicinity.
Esme, as you were bent down, wrenching your bolt free and sort of like stroking his cheek, you notice on his neck hangs on like a leather thong is a tightly bound leather pouch. It looks as though something soft is contained within the leather.
May I sort of tug it off? Not gently, like she, as if looting a corpse from an enemy, she just tugs it off and rifles through the little pouch.
Opening it up, after giving a hard yank, the corpse gives like a no sound, but it just as it's yanked upwards and the thong gives, and you kind of pull the top open with your fingers, and looking inside, it is filled with very delicate, dried, dead, what looks to be rose petals.
Would there be any sort of monster hunter knowledge as to why this guy would have rose petals around his neck, or is it some kind of sentimental stuff, like a beloved?
Roll me. Let's see, what would the knowledge be?
Woofs.
Do you have a knowledge nature? I'm wondering if a cursed creature would be Arcana, though.
Both are intelligence, though.
True. And are you trained in either one? Because I would accept either one. Okay, it's up to you.
Survival? Because it is up to her survival.
Survival. You know what? As a monster hunter, I'm going to allow it, because that's kind of what ties into her survival. Her ability to survive different monsters and encounters with them. So if you want to roll a survival check for this, I will.
It's just because she's proficient in it. Thank you.
Oh.
Just natural 20 anyway.
Natural 20. So, you don't believe this pertains to its curse as a lycanthrope, but looking over the pouch, you see that pressed into the front of it is a very crude symbol of what looks to be a veiled face with a flower beneath it. Perhaps this is a totem of his deity,
Mother.
of the Night Mother.
The Night Mother. Why would she like roses?
As you ponder that, with your survival skill, I'm going to retroactively fit in some Esme lore, as she's traveled Barovia for some time now, at least a few weeks since she's been trapped within the mist, and as she's maintained a stealthful approach to her travels, many times her trips have taken her from the road and deeper into the wilds. As dangerous as they are, she is apt at keeping quiet and moving stealthily through them. And on her travels, she has stumbled into rough-hewn wooden totems depicting this very image, a visage of a woman standing with a veil over her head. And oftentimes around to the base of these totems are left dead, dried roses.
So it's sort of like a common thing that people, well, whoever in Barovia prays to her or believes in her, they leave her roses.
You believe so? That's what you've stumbled across as you've traveled around.
He wasn't lying about that. Not that he could. This Night Mother, she continues to elude me. I must find out more.
For a good story. Like,
Is Esme saying this under her breath, or is she
Yeah.
saying this? Okay.
But she will turn to Raziel. Do you know anything of the Night Mother?
Oh, we know. We have heard. Our last encounter with the Lord. And he kind of like says that in quotations.
Tyler.
No, it's not Skylar.
Oh,
It's
this
someone
is
behind.
Knows of her. We potentially have gotten in contact. But it's hard to say. Calliope may know more if she remembers.
Sorry, there's a lot of distortion going on in the background.
Yeah, I
didn't catch any of that.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me
sorry,
now?
Jared. You got people in the room.
No, it's just like Mason, whoever talking in the background.
Is this better?
Much.
For now, sir. I'll
Okay.
yell at you if it gets bad again, though. Rabble.
We know and have contacted the Night Mother as far as we can tell. That tower gave us much knowledge, which I'm sure you remember, since you were there.
power.
But
And she sort of falters in her step, continuing down the path. What tower?
my dear, the chicken gave us more knowledge than you have given us. And he gives a laugh.
The chicken? Why did I tie
Raziel looks
myself to a group of people who talk to chickens and interview werewolves? Did I make a mistake? And she sort of pulls
the band of characters.
He grins up at Richard. Characters is quite the term. So long as we survive. Now, are we waiting here any longer?
No.
No.
Business is finished here. Come. Let us leave.
So we know that we are being tracked. Not by just one hunter, but many. And factions, it seems.
Must
Our
you
eyes must be
talk out
wary of the
loud?
road.
There's no sense here surmising our situation. Let's head out on the road. We still have to make it to Kresk by, hopefully, nightfall. Or, looking up, I do forget what time it is in this place.
Esme slips the Rose Mother totem around her head and lets it hang.
Come, to Kresk. I'm running low on supplies, and I don't know how many more of these engagements we can go through.
As Calliope uses the scroll that Talandra had given her, I look over to Esme. Well, you say you hunt these things. Any tips on a safer journey making our way to Kresk?
Does Calliope, do you have a crossbow, my dear?
No, javelin is my weapon of choice.
And no silver tips? You did come awfully unprepared, didn't you?
I was hoping to go back to Barovia to pick up my silvered tips.
Well, until then, let's pose a little agreement. You keep their jaws away from me, and I'll be the one to deal the silver.
I can do what I can.
I've seen you fight. You're more than capable. Plus, if you're closer, then it keeps those teeth away from me. And she sort of begins to almost skip down the pathway at that. Your little friend did say we must hurry.
And I approach the carriage, and I would like to take my normal spot in the back.
You turn
We're not-
around to approach your carriage, And with a deep sigh of dissatisfaction, you're reminded the carriage was ruined at the winery as you see the empty road. But
Sorry, you're
Rocky
right.
and the horse stand there. Rocky and Damsel. You don't need to apologize. It's totally within character for Calliope to turn and want to go take her position. And be reminded that the carriage is no more. So,
Okay.
you do remember your great momentary mounting of Rocky, though, and your thunderous ride against the Black Wolf.
Yeah, hopefully I won't have to be pulling those stunts anytime soon.
True. That ghost in the Durst Manor did scare Calliope really bad. I remember.
I know.
Okay. So, does everyone group up and continue down the road to Kresik?
Yep.
Let's go.
All right. So, the travel is continuously rough as the terrain turns from gentle, though overgrown with roots and trees, and would be very difficult to navigate with carriage. It looks like the road is, less traveled than the main one, as you've split off northward towards the Kresik after leaving that main Slavic forest road that would have taken you back to Valaki, the Mage Tower, and Argynvost Holt. You instead split off and head northward towards the village of Kresik, a much closer settlement than Valaki, and perhaps better stocked than the ruined keep of the dragon and the toppling tower of that ancient wizard. The rain seems to slacken as you continue to grow in elevation, and the temperature begins to grow cold, frigid, as winds begin to blow through, and the trees of the Sphalic forest grow less dense. The rain stops, but only because you notice it's begun to be replaced by gently falling flakes of snow.
Well,
Keeps getting better, doesn't it?
this is new. And I kind of pull my hood up more and tuck my hair in, cinch up the leather buckles on my bracers. Who knew Barovia could get even more uncomfortable? As I notice my breath kind of begin to puff out.
However, as your breath does puff out, you do also notice a bit of a sense of warmth as Sunny is concentrating on a just sort of rolling prestidigitation as we're walking to just keep the coldest looking member of the party at a time warm, which in this moment is Delandra. It's not much, it's not the most powerful spell, but it's something.
Oh, Sunny, you always seem to have a little magic trick for every situation.
Funny.
Oh.
Well, Delandra, we gotta take care of each other out here. That's how we survive.
I agree, but we also need to take care of the people here. As you can see, she's still a little bit sour from earlier in her typical manner.
You can see that I'm shivering a bit, and as I pull my robe tight, Acorn Buddy is in one of my pockets and pokes his little head out, but then buries himself deeper as well.
Your note, Talandra. Raziel doesn't look back, but says, "Those that are worth saving." There is a difference.
I open my mouth to respond, but instead think better of it and just kind of save the hot air to keep myself warm. Continue onward.
Is there anything anyone would like to do during the travel? You are mostly on foot, except for the two paladins who are on horseback.
seems slow going, kind of staring from person to person in our little procession.
Oh,
Thinking,
as a retcon, sorry, Jeff. I do take my manacles off before we go.
Okay, fair enough. Yep, that's absolutely fair. Retrieve the manacles from the body of the human male.
definitely going to need those again.
Well, the werewolf male, but he was in human.
Oh,
form
yeah.
After he died.
And I kind of look
Alright.
back at Richard and kind of see how he's faring with the snow. The recent kind of connection with Arrogance and the Platinum Dragon and everything has left me a little puzzled about his true purpose here. So I turn to him. Richard, are you at all excited or interested to go to Argynvost? It doesn't seem like you've expressed much interest. This is related to your god, is it not?
It'll happen naturally. When it's time, we'll be there. That's how it always been. Ever since I got this, and he kind of fingers his amulet. But you also see him distracted with the line of sight that he has in the perimeter as he's doing constant checks for more werewolves.
Roll me a perception check, Richard.
Ever the vigilant one. I just envy you sometimes in your... Well, if you could forgive me, but your seemingly simple way of going about things. Now, I mean no offense by that, truly. Like I said, I envy it. I find that you have a peace about you that is difficult to replicate, and others gravitate to your leadership, and it's just... I don't know what I'm saying. It's just a strange way you have about you.
I would like to give Richard an advantage. I would also like to be checking with him. But, like, unbeknownst, I'm also checking.
Okay. Well, technically, you'll be rolling your own perception check then. If you're attempting to assist him without him knowing through a perception check, it'd be really hard to do that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Dig it.
The only way you could really understandably help someone with a perception check would be to, like, point things out to them.
Point things out. Okay.
Yeah, or, like, help them notice things, and that would be difficult to do unnoticed.
Okay.
So you could roll your own perception check if you kind of want to be, like, keeping vigilant watch as well.
Okay, I will do so.
Okay.
Continue the conversation.
Thank you, Azael.
Okay. With those perception checks, just real quick, you recognize it will be difficult to continue to follow the trails soon, as much of what was previously there has already at this altitude been covered with some of the packs of snow and small clusters of new powder you've seen gathering around you in the forest and amongst the tree branches, which are slowly turning into mostly pines now, as you continue to sort of like scale the early roots of the mountain ranges that are lining the northern region of Barovia. You also notice the skull of Argynvost and that strange mace that had been fished up from the bottom of that swamp are also beginning to gather small clusters of snow as they sit on that hitched makeshift... what would it be called? It's not a wagon, but it's like a...
Sled?
A sled, yeah. On the makeshift sled that damsel has been expertly carrying behind her even in the midst of combat.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying anything in particular. That's all.
I'll be right back.
I wish I could emulate your tranquility, Richard. That's all.
Feel as if this could be my form of faith, is knowing that no matter where I am, I'm doing Bahamut's work. And that brings
I oddly think that's true. Strangely enough, I agree. Everything seems to fit. You seem to fall into exactly where you're needed. I had no idea the Platinum Dragon had any workings here, that any of his kin or avatars. And here we are at the bones of one of them, carrying around relics, forgotten saints. It all seems very surreal. And yet you just remain stalwart. We're going to come to rely on that strength soon enough. More than we have already. Your part is definitely not done here, Richard.
It has just begun. We need that army. We need those who seek vengeance upon this land and its cruel owners.
Well, let's hope we can rally like-minded individuals of all faiths and of all the different ideologies of what Barovia used to be. I'm so curious about what this place was once before. Are you not? You look about and you see these mist-shrouded trees and corrupted villages and ruined towns. But this place once thrived. Had trade caravans and merchants and troubadours and roving plays. So many beautiful things lost. I'm so curious to see what it'll look like. Renewed. Freed of the yoke of that beast. I kind of shake it off. I'm talking, rambling on. Pardon me.
Your pardon. Say true. Yes, this land was once much more, and it is why we cannot give quarry to those that seek to continually corrupt it.
Have you ever considered perhaps that it is less those that corrupt it, and the land itself willing to be corrupted? Perhaps it's given over to these horrors. Perhaps this entire place is just what it is. Just full of dread, hopelessness.
Are you saying the land asked for it, Esme?
No. But I'm saying what is broken may not always be fixed, and what if the land was this way for some time?
I agree. It's a fantasy to think that it will be somehow restored to its former glory and the taint will wash away from this land as the new sun rises. I realize that is a storybook ending.
Well, at least you realize it.
But
Hopefully you haven't spread too much joy to make the people here think so too. What if ridding this place of its dread ruins its place forever? It could cease to be no more. We could continue to be trapped here. You can continue to be trapped here at least. I've my ticket out of it. And she sort of mutters that last sentence.
you see Talanja's a little distracted by like an unbecoming giggle of hers, and she kind of looks up. I'm sorry, I forget that you're new. I'm not the type of priest that goes around spreading too much joy, but I'm sure you'll learn that soon. But I do agree. There are unmistakable scars and wounds that can't be healed. But I kind of look up at you with a smile. Your ticket out of here, whatever it may be, don't rely too much. It seems sure things are never too sure in Barovia.
Esme sort of reflects that same sort of break in the stoic character, and a giant sort of white-toothed grin peels across her otherwise fairly fragile cheeks. And you notice that she does have some deep, old, scratched scars, usually hidden by a fallen fringe. And it's quite clear that she's been fighting her way through existence for some time. You're not wrong. That's true. Let's try and avoid any joy. Giving hope to the hopeless is just, well. And she falters off, and for the first time, she almost stops in this great tread that they've been keeping, this pace that they've been keeping to try and get through the snow and get to their destination.
Oh, hope keeps you warm, dear. And I can tell you that much. I kind of tuck in as well, arms crossed.
Walking of warm, I would kill a whole pack of werewolf and more for a nice drink by a warm fire as soon as we get there. I wish I'd brought my wagon.
You know what I'd kill for? And I look up with like another kind of grin. Some sausage. Some real sausage. My village used to get these large pig traders would come through, these huge caravans that would have fresh meat that would go to the markets in the surrounding small villages, and they would have these beautiful sausages, and it was my job to take them and buy them in the morning and bring them back to the monastery. And oh, what I would kill for something like that right now.
And I urge you, and Esme's sort of giggling this entire time. As soon as we arrive, I will find the finest sausage, although you did strike me as one who was not so inclined to the sausage. And she lets a sort of devilish grin flash towards her.
Calandra kind of just like wide-eyed, like blinks, like really slowly in your direction, and then like for the first time loses like that like strong-shouldered demeanor and sinks in on herself, and all you can see is like the radiating red glow of her cheeks matching the color of her hair, and she just kind of tucks her head in.
Esme, keeping pace, sort of twists her head and like awkwardly, like sort of like the Spider-Man scene, like upside down, face to face. Have I made you bashful?
You hear from the top of the horse Calliope just letting out the most authentic, ugly cackle.
This is ridiculous. You're all ridiculous. This is Calliope. You especially. Don't you think that you are forgiven? And you sit up I'm gonna go with Sunny. And
wow.
I kind of
must be bad.
I kind of fall backwards into the tall, lanky figure, kind of just like what I would assume trudging through the snow as if there was no snow at all. And I kind of fall in behind him quietly.
Looking behind on my horse, Esme, I think that is the first time somebody was able to rile Talandra. Congratulations. That's quite a feat.
It doesn't seem swayed by death in her face. Destruction does little. But embarrassment, now that I can work with.
Oh my dear. You are definitely becoming part of this party.
The snow
I
does
thank you.
noticeably get thicker, and you see older snow is now gathering with the newer snow, and you certainly entered into a more wintry, higher altitude area of Barovia. You've seen these winter slopes from a distance through the mists, and you've seen the snow-capped mountains, but you never really perhaps imagined you would have to walk this far, or even get this deep within this valley, as you begin to rise up out of the bowl, and the forest around you grows less dense as the branches have been removed of their foliage and their leaves and been replaced instead with almost a gentle, pure white snow that gives the gray, off-putting grave glow of Barovia almost a serene, peaceful quietness.
I would like to know what time it is. Is it getting dark?
No, it's past noon now, and you are all growing like midday hungry, but it is not quite like late day or even evening yet.
How far are we from Kresk? What's it called?
Krezik.
Kresk?
Rezek, you believe, based on how far you've traveled thus far, and the map that you've been provided, you're about 2/3 of the way there. Another 2 or 3 hour travel and you'll reach the village.
Well, we could walk on. We're some ways there, or... And Esme sort of startled by the deep groaning growl from her stomach.
Delandra speaking it for the first time in hours. We should continue on. We'll find better lodgings, and we won't have to risk the bite of the night cold. If you think this is cold, a few hours from now, it might just be intolerable. I think it's worth the push to the village, even if we arrive a little later.
I'm so hungry, but fine. I've survived off worse. But I'm not going to be in a good mood when we arrive. And there's still the issue of how we're going to get in. We don't have that barrel of wine that they're expecting.
Sorry, I was perplexed by the idea that you've been in a good mood this entire time. Anyway, the wine we will... Well, I hate to say it, but for the first time, we will have to rely on the wiles of Sunny, or maybe even Sonieri. I can just say as though like the name kind of like drips out of my mouth as if like with bile.
I say we try truth first. If Delandra want to heal and help people in this land, those that are not corrupted must be given all the truth they need to see. If that doesn't work, and Raziel gives a grin, then Signore may try his guiles.
Agreed. I much rather we try honesty first before Signore gets involved. And as I'm talking, I'm reaching into one of my side pockets and I look over at Esme. Catch. And I toss you from my travel rations fruit, dried fruit, and some jerky. I assume you can eat and walk at the same time.
Are you trying to doubt my capabilities? And she tears into the jerky and just maintains like really awkward, intense eye contact. And she like folds her tongue over the jerky strip.
If you fell, oh, that would be the best moment ever.
I will roll for my +10 acrobatics and make that fall the most spectacular fall it has ever been.
It would be even better if you failed, if you got a natural one on everything. It's just like the always graceful Esme just trips over a fucking root.
21, I'm okay.
Nope.
Oh my goodness.
Nope.
Oh, Lord.
Dungeon
Just wanted to
Master.
show off. Uh-huh.
I did a little bit. It's +10, damn it.
I noticed.
Does Esme know anything about Krezik? Like, does she know about how likely their telling the truth approach is going to be to getting inside? Are they like super hermit reclusive and don't care about the truth and just want the wine?
You have attempted to get into Krezik, which is how you know this information, and they have turned Esme away. She did not have wine, and she was an outsider. Krezik is an isolationist group. They'll trade, but you have to bring something worthwhile to their gates. They never leave their village, and they very rarely let others out from outside inside their walls. It will be difficult. And they are suspicious, so you know if you are caught tricking them, they will not hesitate to want to remove you from their walls.
Perfect. So as Esme is tearing into this jerky quite salaciously, look,
Nice.
truth, it's Yes, for some it may work, but here it will not. I've tried before, and I'm not too proud to admit that I've not been able to get in, regardless of my attempts. And I can usually get my way, believe me. So when they don't let me in, and they tell me I need to bring wine, then wine is what I bring. And here I come empty-handed, with 5 more outsiders that they will already be mistrustful of. And if we are to lie, and they are to catch us, then our supply run is wasted.
Is it a lie? Or do we have something that they may recognize and see for the truth that we speak? And he turns to you and points at that majestic, what is it, necklace? Necklace that you are now wearing. We have a
Majestic, it's
way.
a pouch of dead petals. Raziel, there are effigies to the Night Mother all throughout this land. Are they, Dungeon Master, would Esme know if any of the Night Mother effigies are around Kresik? Does it look like they too are enamored by her, or
I was just gonna ask the same
they
question.
don't care?
You haven't been in their walls, so you're not certain if they have any effigies to the Night Mother, but it would be out of the ordinary. You believe the people of Kresik are worshippers of the sun god.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called in Baroque. Amontor, we'll just say.
They do not pray to the Veiled One, the Night Mother. And they will not care for a bag of dead leaves and petals.
I'm not saying that they would believe and trust us in such an endeavor, but with the truth that we have encountered, perhaps we can gain some sort of trust. It is a fact, and I know all of us here have bared witness. Perhaps these people can be convinced.
I'm all for trying to talk our way in, but that should be plan B. You talk when all of your other options are. Well, this is you. All you seem to do is talk. The metaphors, by goodness, the metaphors. But you, and she points at Talon, a little sun god. Perhaps there's convincing to be done with you. And she sort of, like, her eyes are fixed, sort of in the same, almost just like Isla when she sees a trinket or a treasure she wants. She's focused on that medallion of the sun raven kind. That one.
You had to get out of my fucking head.
I'm sorry.
Like, you're just in my head, you little brain worm.
Wiggle, wiggle.
I'm like sitting here reading the Holy Symbol of Ravenkind's description, making sure I know what I'm talking about. Okay. So anyway, so yeah, this whole time you two have been kind of talking, I've actually had the symbol of Ravenkind, the platinum sun, in my hand, and I'd say the amulet's about, as a dwarf, probably about the size of my palm. Would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. So I'm kind of just holding this platinum sun with the ruby in the center, and I'm gazing into it. I think this actually might work. Kind of holding it up a little bit to address you as my. I believe people haven't seen a symbol like this in a long time. And there's a connection here between the divine and the Raven Queen. It seems like a mixture of both of our plans will be the best. We will tell the truth, but not about the wine or anything. But I'll
Or
show them
ourselves.
this. Sure.
We will offer them the sun. Where they wish for wine, we will give them a god.
I don't know about that, but we can remind them of a long lost faith. Anyway, and I kind of like tuck it back into my tunic. We should be there soon. And we'll see how this plan works.
Esme sort of falters back and if Raziel doesn't falter back with her, like sort of tug on his cloak to get him to keep pace with her a little slower at the back of the entourage. And if that little ploy doesn't work, I'm sure you and I can find a way to sneak inside. We can always open the door. We just need supply. But there are secrets inside. I just know it.
All right. Your travels continue for the next hour or two as you talk amongst yourselves or grow quiet in the stillness of the falling snow. It is cold. Those of you without appropriate clothing begin to feel it deep within your body. If you do not have warm clothes to change into, you will begin to suffer from the cold weather effects. Except for you, Richard, as you seem to be walking through this weather unhindered. Does
Would
anyone... go ahead.
Traveler's clothes work?
No, they will have to be specifically warm weather clothing. Like a fur coat or a very heavy cloak.
They're called warm. It's called warm weather clothing. It's exactly what Shane said. I will. Can I? So
Except
I have
for
a blank.
Talandra, excuse me, because Sunny has been providing magical effects to keep her warm.
I think he's been cycling it.
He'll have to choose a specific target to focus on. He won't be able to maintain each person's warmth. Well, actually, let me think about that.
I think he's just been like casting the cantrip on like each person in for like a direct amount of time since we've been traveling.
Okay, fair enough. Instead,
how can could I do that? Like, how would it work?
I'm thinking about survival mechanics here, as much as like, you know, and I want to incorporate that role play. So instead of negating someone's, because this is going to be Constitution roll, instead of negating someone's need to roll, like Richard does not need to roll because he's unhindered by the cold weather. If you have warm weather clothing, you also will not have to roll. However, because Sunny is sort of cycling his prestidigitation and providing a bit of warmth to each individual, everyone will roll at an advantage.
And then one last question, DM. I do in my gear have a blanket that specifically says a thick quilted blanket made to keep you warm in cold weather.
That will count if you want to wrap that around yourself.
So I will do so. I will drape that about my shoulders and kind of bundle it up like a makeshift cloak.
Okay.
I have one as well that I can share.
All right.
Esme will invite herself to share Richard's blanket.
All right. Being unhindered by the cold, you may have the entire blanket. If you wish.
Aw, Esme is now a burrito.
There you go.
It's a 3-pound blanket, too. It's like...
Esmerito.
Esmerito. Oh my god.
Esmerito. Nice.
I love it. I love it and I hate it. Yeah, it's a heavy blanket. It's like it's definitely like a small weighted blanket.
Yeah, that'll do.
My anxiety has been taken away.
Hey man, don't make fun of those. I love those things.
I'm not. I used one for the same reason.
Seeing Esme trying to snuggle up next to Richard, I would like to offer my horse if you can share the blanket.
The horse? Are you...
Well, riding a two-person, is Rocky strong enough to carry two?
Sure.
Pretty sure. Especially someone as lithe as Esme.
So you're gonna...
Everyone's like fudging this.
No,
dude,
it's all good.
This is exactly how I felt on
it.
the fucking on my campaign. I was like, cold weather mechanics, let's go.
And it gives people, you know, this is how they would react if they were getting cold. I love it. So
it's so good.
All right, so Calliope, seeing Esme wrapped in a blanket, you offer her a ride on the horse.
Yeah, yep. To share the blanket. That is the motive.
Esme, do you get on the horse and share your blanket?
Heck yeah.
All right.
Like a little jetpack spoons Calliope from behind and like just pulls the blanket over her. She's like a turtle shell. And all Esme is right now is just a pair of eyes looking over Calliope's shoulder as she tries to batwing with the blanket around them both.
You're going to be uncomfortable because my javelins will be sticking you, my pots, my pans, and, you know, who knows.
You know, there is saddlebags on the horse. You don't have to carry them yourself.
But what if Rocky runs The horse can run away.
That's just
This
my
is why you're in
javelin.
control.
So
Clive, are you
your
happy? Esme,
your
are you happy to
javelin?
see me?
It's now Calliope's turn to be beat red. Look directly in front and do not make any eye contact with anybody.
Why is everyone so bashful?
Making sex jokes to all the holy people.
Uh,
To all
My
the
new
people who are
goal.
most likely virgins.
okay, well, that leaves Sunny and Raziel, and yeah, Sunny and Raziel. Skinnier than some amongst the group and without any warm clothing. Sunny, you see everybody else sort of bundling up. Do you transfer your prestidigitation to yourself?
I suppose so. Suppose I must.
Alright, keeping yourself warm. You negate the need to roll your constitution.
Beautiful.
Raziel, is there any way for you to keep warm, sir?
No.
No. Alright.
I should have looked this up.
As far as I know, I don't think there is a way for. Yeah, no. I'm just in my regular armor and clothes.
Question then: do torches keep people warm?
No.
Nope.
Darn.
I have a torch. So yeah.
Some early rust mechanics.
Yep. Nope. Do I need to roll something? Because yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to roll a constitution saving throw against the exhausting effects of the cold weather.
Is it an advantage because of prestidigitation?
No, unless Sonny wants to choose to continuously.
I mean,
move
I could
between himself and Raziel.
prestidigitate.
No, not this point.
Actually,
you
I
have
could. Yeah, I do. I could prestidigitate myself consistently,
That's what
always
Sonny's
casting
doing.
it every minute.
Mhm.
Because I do have that. Because it
what
only.
Sonny's
Oh,
doing,
it lasts
isn't
an
it?
hour. Okay.
If you want to
Yeah.
do that as well.
Okay. I will create like a small little bubble, like almost as if I've got an umbrella over my head.
Yeah.
So we are prepared for the cold.
I'm just imagining like Raziel puts his one hand down his pants and he just like becomes warm.
What the
What the
You know,
fuck?
you know, like 'cause it's like the way guys do when they're like relaxing. You know what I mean? Like when they're
Oh
just like really
my
chilling. And you're just
God.
like, because you're like, I prestidigitate myself, and I don't know why it just made me laugh.
Ah,
Sick
Alright.
bastard.
You said
you
that.
sick bastard.
Oh,
No,
me? Oh, me?
You said fuck. Oh my god.
But no, if I can prestidigitate as well, it only lasts an hour. But yeah, I'll keep redoing it every hour to warm myself.
All right. So you keep yourselves warm as you travel through the lower slopes of Mount Baratok in its mountain range, until slowly the forests begin to clear out in front of you, replaced by rolling hills and a rocky slope. And you can see the road in front of you branches north and climbs that rocky embankment, ending at a gatehouse built into a 20-foot-high wall of stone, forced with buttresses every 50 feet or so. The wall encloses a settlement on the side of a snow-dusted mountain spur. Beyond the wall, you see the tops of snow-covered pines and thin, white wisps of smoke. The somber toll of a bell comes from a stone abbey that clings to the mountainside high above the settlement. The steady chime is inviting, a welcome change from the deathly silence and oppressive fog to which you have grown accustomed. It's hard to tell at this distance, but there seems to be a switchback road clinging to the cliffs that lead up from the walled settlement to the abbey above. You have reached Kresik, or at least the outer limits of the Svalek woods, and Kresik lies ahead of you across a rocky field covered with snow.
I kind of take the front of the group and turn towards the rest of the party. Okay. I withdraw the amulet. Let me just head up the approach. I doubt anything dangerous will happen. The worst they can say is no. We get turned away, and we return to Arrogance and continue with our plan. But I can convince them to let us in, please. And I kind of look at Esme, Sunny, Raziel specifically, kind of eyes shooting from one to the other. Please keep your manners about you.
Manners don't mean I don't have to lie, though.
No,
do they?
that's fine. No, it's fine.
Oh, wonderful.
We don't have to tell anyone who we are. Just let's try not to go poking around too much or, revealing too many of our magic tricks, Sonny. Let's just keep our heads down for once. That's all I'm saying. Please.
I have a bashful yet understanding look.
Okay. And I kind of lead the group the best I can as my shortest one in the group by a long shot. And I have
Get close to Esme and stay quiet and nod at you, Talandra. Just slightly. Just giving you the I'm not going to say yes, but it's not going to be a no.
I figured that's the best I was going to get from you. So, as long as you didn't outwardly object, I think I was good. So I kind of walk towards the gate, kind of waiting to be hailed with the amulet just out upon my chest, like normal, not presenting it in any way, and just kind of waiting, or approaching and waiting to be stopped.
All right. Do the rest of you follow Talandra as she walks across this road that winds its way through this rocky field and then up this stony embankment to the gates?
Yes. Esme sort of pulls her cloak in the best way she can to look less recognizable to them if they are particularly good at remembering faces of people who try to get in before.
So this is something that retroactively can be up to you or not. Did Esme and her previous attempts to get inside of Krezk use a disguise with her disguise kit?
Probably, but she no longer has her disguise kit.
Exactly. So this could be the first time, at least according to the Krezkites, that they've ever met Esme, as she may have tried to present herself with a different
she can use her
identity.
real self as her disguise this time.
If that's something you would like to retroactively and put in place, because
She would
Esme
figure
has-
that out. Yeah, she is usually in disguise whenever she gets into anywhere, especially Vallaki. She rarely
Considering-
shows her true self.
She's much more sinister and mean and manipulative than Hannah actually is. So nice Hannah wouldn't have thought of that.
There is a bit of Vistani prejudice that runs through some of the settlements of Barovia, so it is understandable to want to not present as a Vistani if there's going to be hostilities. So she may have hidden herself. Perhaps she can come up with her previous identity if that becomes important. Because as the party approaches...
An old lady called Maggie the Saggy.
Maggie the Saggy, very good. Done.
That was too quick.
Esme is reminded and gives a slight smile as Maggie the Saggy comes to mind. As we approach the gates, we will take a break and we'll come back and we will continue in front of the gates of Krezk.
Alrighty, sounds good.
Hell yeah. So go get food or
boys.
tea or coffee or... How's that vodka, Hannah?
Wonderful.
Nice.
Wonderful.
Maybe you can be all the Krezkite female voices for me. You could put on the accent and drink the vodka.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
It wasn't vodka, it was pink
Vodka.
lemonade vodka, so if anything, I should have like a really basic white girl accent for
Yeah.
that.
All right.
So
Yeah.
just drop your English
The,
accent.
the
Then.
Kreskites of the valley sound
I am
like.
not a
And
basic
go
white
ahead,
girl.
her.
Take that back.
I was like my ear to my own did you notice?
Friends off. I'm not
Ah.
friends with Jeff anymore.
Friendship with
Bye.
Jeff ended.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
Hey, what?
hey.
We all make mistakes sometimes.
So,
Yeah.
last we left off, the party was approaching the gates of Krezek. And while there are wisps of smoke rising from the interior, the wall is so high and so concealing, well built, it's difficult to see if there's anyone really manning the walls. And Talandra, you feel, even through your thick blanket, the air grows colder as you approach the walled settlement. 2 square towers, peaked with roofs, flank a stone archway, into which is set a pair of 12-foot-tall, iron-bound wooden doors. Carved into the arch above the doors is the name of the village, Krezek. Walls extend from the gatehouse 20 feet high, atop of which are parapets. You see 4 figures now who have come to the edge of the parapets at your approach. And atop their heads you see fur hats, and they seem to be clutching spears. And you can see on their faces, even from this distance, a nervous glance down towards your party.
Approach, shrouded in my dark gray blanket, and I kind of walk a little bit farther ahead of the group and stop right below them, or when, like I said before, when I'm stopped. I look up. Are you letting any passengers or any travelers into the village? My friends and I are quite cold. And I just kind of let the amulet show at first.
You see beneath the furred-rimmed leather cap that one of the men are wearing as he peers over the edge of the wall. He looks down, and in a very thick accent, he says, "We are not expecting visitors. We will fetch the Burgermeister. Wait. Give us a moment." And you
Thank
hear
you.
shouting beyond the wall.
And I kind of continue.
Dimitri! We have visitors!
I want to leave already.
Oh, boy. And I kind of turn with a nervous glance towards the rest of my party, and then turn back, kind of awaiting. Wasn't expecting the Burgermeister.
Talandra. Truth. Let's start there.
Agreed. Understood.
Could Richard have given you a thumbs up, you're doing a great job.
Billy to Richard in the back. You got this, kiddo. You can go get him, Tiger.
You're doing great.
It's my first little league game.
It doesn't help that I'm the smallest one in the group, so you all look like my polyamorous family.
Esme sort of stands to one side of Talandra's shoulder, ready and waiting to lie, should she need to. She's sort of quite silent, waiting for Talandra to do her thing.
So, yeah, wait for the Burgermeister.
The shouting
I'm on
has
the other side.
died down
by the way.
some, and the guards seem to be standing silently, staring or sort of glancing down towards your party. Wordless for now. You see a man look over his shoulder as a slightly more put-together figure appears from over the rim of the stone wall. And you see he's wearing a very thick fur coat, and his hair has receded some. He's grayed on the temples, but he looks weathered, but not uncapped. And he shouts down to your group. I am Lord Dmitry Kreskov, Lord of this walled village, Kreskov. And I expect to be treated as such. Who are you, strangers? Announce yourselves and your intentions.
I take like a low bow to kind of as he addresses himself and announces his title, and standing back up, I kind of open my arms a little bit, still kind of wrapped in my gray cloak. We are simple travelers. We've been in Barovia for a couple weeks now, and traveling from Barovia to Vallaki to now your village. We just came from the Mordakov winery, where there was a horrific accident or murder. It was unclear, but the Mordakov winery was totally burned to the ground. And we come here now for your refuge, to be able to report what happened. And I kind of now attempt to, I'm like trying to pop my chest out a little bit with the holy symbol, like hoping maybe, they mention it without having to like bring it up front and outright have to lie. Yeah, subtle.
A dark look comes over the face of Dmitry Kreskov as he hears the news of the Mordakov winery. You tell me the winery has burned. What of the Martikovs? Of Davian and his lot?
We buried 2 of them at the site of the winery. There was nothing more we could do, even as myself a healer.
The old man is gone, then.
He is. I'm sorry to say. I kind of turn to Raziel as you make a noise, like kind of breaking my visage for just one moment. Like, was that the right thing to say? Shit. And then like turning back to him and like with like full, like straight face.
And it gives you like a stern look, as almost if a little bit too information, but he'll accept it for the moment.
I can't convey all that, but I definitely recognize the sternness.
Dmitry narrows his eyes at the lot of you. If that is true, that is grave news. But I see you carry a relic of his family upon your chest. How is it you came of such a thing? Did you take it from him?
No, I would never take such a thing. No, I was gifted this. You see, we've been moving from place to place in your fair land, or your shrouded land. And we've encountered many of the different plagues and evils that Strahd von Zarovich has laid upon you. And we've been gifted a certain amount, and I kind of motion to my obviously heavily equipped group of compatriots. We've all been gifted in our own way with an ability to fight back. When I encountered the Mordakovs, this was the reward for fighting back their plague and their infestation. I am honest when I tell you that I have pledged myself to the old faith of Barovia, and the same that I have pledged myself to all my faiths. And I kind of let the stone shine against, well, damn, there's no sun. I always want to use the sunlight in Barovia. And I always remember there's none. Well, I kind of, you can see Sandra trying to like a refractor. Okay, that's not working. All right. Well, yeah, just kind of end it there. Like trying to like create a little more panache without having to go out right out and like cast a spell or anything too deceitful.
So, you bring news, but we still do not know who you are or why you came to our village.
It's so cold. Should we really stand out here and recite all of our names? I am Talandra. I come from Faerun, a land far away, as do most of my compatriots. I promise you that if you let us in and help us resupply with food and warmth, that we will tell you everything. Everything that we know, that is.
I am sorry, friends, but you are new here. Krezik does not let anyone in, nor do we leave. These walls are ours. We do not know you, and we have trusted your kind before, to our detriment. You travel these roads, yes, and you seem capable, which means one of two things here in Borovia. You are either allies to the devil, or you are his adversaries. And I wish to house and refuge neither in the walls of Krezik. Do you understand?
Why must we be... sorry.
I was just gonna say, I kind of motion. I know that Esme, I know that I'm on thin ice with Esme, so I kind of
Gonna tag team me in.
I kind of hold my hand out for just a second, just give me one more chance. I know that Esme is about to jump in, and I say,
she stifles whatever words she was about to say and nods towards Talandra and just kind of gives her that look okay, girl, but I'm jumping in if this doesn't start looking up right now.
and I just know I could feel her breathing behind me, even in my own bedroom. So yeah, I kind of look up to him with a little bit of discouragement on my face, and I say, "Sir, we have traveled all the way to this cold and frigid land. I understand that you are turning us away, and that is your right, and we should just turn and leave now. But we have done and sacrificed all we can so far to bring a little bit of light into this place. And I would like to cast or use the sunlight spell, but DM, I was hoping that I could. Do I have an ability to control? Is it do I have a dimmer switch on it, or can I
clap to dim it
believe-
down a little?
I believe it casts a very specific spell, does it not?
You cast the sunlight spell.
Okay, we're gonna have to go off
Yes.
of the description for that
Yes.
spell.
So I am trying to find that right now.
Okay.
'Cause
While
it
you're
doesn't
looking
have
for
it.
that, I have to pee real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. Take a small pee break. Okay. Because I would like to. I'm about to Gandalf the White Theoden this shit. Okay. Okay. Any music, do you guys?
I hear nothing also.
I hear music.
Same.
I think so. There we
You need to turn up your hydrobot.
go.
I don't want control of my own bot.
So,
So much responsibility.
after, so it's the daylight spell is the name of the spell.
Daylight come.
Oh, fuck you. I
Sorry.
knew that was coming. No, I knew it was coming. So it's a 60-foot sphere of light spreads out from the point that I choose. It's bright light and then sheds dim light for an additional 60 feet.
Okay.
So I was thinking maybe just as I'm talking, it's getting brighter and brighter.
Okay. And where would you like that point to be?
From the center of the amulet.
Okay. So, as it grows brighter and brighter, Dmitry Kreskov mid-sentence is cut off as he has to shield his eyes from the brightness of a sun, unbeknownst to him.
and behind this like blinding light, I say to him, we simply come to your town as refugees of this dark, dark place. And I am here to break that darkness. And I kind of throw off my gray cloak, showing the white beneath. Oh yeah. And and I kind of let the light illuminate in its full like brightness and behind it, and then slowly let it dim back down until like my hands are kind of cradling the light as I kind of choose to dispel it.
Dimitri and his men slowly lower their hand shield from their eyes, adjust their vision.
Please, for the sake of Barovia and for us, let us just have a moment of refuge and resupply. And I promise you, you can see a light just like this again. And maybe even here, in this cold, cold place. And then I kind of turn back to Esme with like a raised eyebrows, like, all right, let's hope that worked.
Under her cloak, Esme's sort of doing like a fist pump, like, atta girl, like, I think you got him on this one, kiddo. Fist pumps.
To kind of retro, while you were going through that, I give you a minute at the end as you're walking up and saying your last sentences, thaumaturgy. And I make your voice, it says boom and be louder, but I would kind of like to give it more of like...
I think it's called a flange. Like when it's like sounds like two voices on top of each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a reverb, but very, very closely packed. Yeah. Okay. Roll me a persuasion check, Talandra.
Sure. Absolutely.
Please.
+0 with my 0 charisma.
It was all these actions together that even gave you this persuasion roll.
Yeah.
Dimitri's hands lower to his side. I cannot... My ancestors built this wall to keep their good, humble people safe. We've seen your like before. As I said, allies or enemies of the devil. There have been those on his side who could wield the light, only to turn to shadows. If you truly wish to bring us hope, Talandra, prove it. My son, Isaac, he has been missing these past 2 days. We believe taken by werewolves. If you could find anything, his body, his whereabouts, or just bring vengeance upon those who took him from me, I would be honor-bound as a lord to extend my gratitude and give you all favors asked if you would do this thing for me. Find my son, or find what happened to him, or bring those who took him from me to justice.
And what if we already have? And Esme holds up the pouch. We came across a pack of werewolves, lycanthropes, monsters, not too far from here. And can she begin to sort of lie about, would she know what his son looked like, or maybe clothes he would have worn?
She wouldn't have even known Dimitri had a son.
Okay, could she know, do Krezk people wear certain things? She's going to try and just lie that she saw him.
Okay. Roll a deception check. You know the Krezk people wear heavy fur coats.
Yeah, so
sewn
wearing
from
furs.
wolf hide and also woolen spun clothes from the sheep they keep.
Perfect. What does expertise mean again? Does that mean I roll it twice?
No, that means that your proficiency has been applied twice already to the skill, which is why it's a +7.
Just double checking. Thank you. 15.
You have slain the beasts. Did you see children amongst them?
Oh, well, yes, certainly we did. And if it's clear from, if she's able to read his face, as insight or whatever, if it's clear that she's not lying well enough, I will. Can I re-roll with a lucky point?
I don't think so. I think lucky needs to be declared before the result of the roll has been determined.
All right.
Yeah. Roll an
And
insight
she's-
check.
Oh, okay.
From this distance, it's hard to discern.
Re-roll.
Okay.
You gotta give me a chance to re-roll my lucky.
Okay, you gotta call it out, but I'll give
I
it to you.
did.
You're right, you did.
I don't know how I could be any faster. Just
I
assume
will
I've
wait.
got
Okay.
2 more
in the
points.
In the future,
Yeah.
everyone who
Actually-
rolls, declare your roll out loud afterwards.
Actually, DM, just
What?
it says right here you can choose to spend one of your luck points after you roll the die. So lucky can be done afterwards.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. But doesn't it say also after that it's also before the result is like determined?
Oh yeah,
This
but
is-
before the outcome is determined.
Or before the outcome.
Yeah, so as I'm reading that as like
okay.
you know, the outcome is explained to you by the DM, and then afterwards you can't be like, oh, I use a lucky point.
Ah, I see.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
see.
yeah.
I see.
So what
That's how-
she's saying is like, hold the fuck on, and what I'm
Yeah.
saying is I will hold on, but everyone needs to declare their roll after they've rolled it out loud. Then you're like,
Okay.
once you've clicked the button, go over, look at the chat, and say it out loud. And from that point, I'll wait until then.
25. Oh,
Okay.
I thought you were
Perfect.
giving me instructions.
No, I am. So in the future, so that if people are listening to the episodes too, they can hear what the result of the roll is.
Uh-huh.
Like they may not be watching and looking at the box, and I would rather not have to say it every time, and I'd rather the
Okay.
players say it anyway. That will give me I won't give a description until after you declare your roll. So you can use your lucky points or anything like that. Any sort of mechanic like that.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Alrighty. 25.
Alright.
Okay, well, did I give you enough warning to re-roll?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Fired that off like a quick shot cowboy.
Well,
Okay.
9 is terrible.
So I'll go ahead and say it out loud again.
25.
That's awesome. Okay. With a 25, luckily, the wind blows back his furred hood, and you can see his emotions written so much more clearly on his face. The luck is so on your side. Oh, thank goodness for luck. And with that 25, you are able to discern that while he believes you, he thinks you are perhaps exaggerating.
As she
Yeah.
talks to him, can she she's trying to describe his child, and she's sort of measuring his height. Yes, he was about this high, and she's reading his face for when it seems like an accurate representation, like he's the one giving it away. Like, you know, magicians who don't actually use magic, they can just read people really well.
Uh-huh.
She's insightfully deducing from her description of the boy, the son.
That he doesn't believe her about the son, but that they got into a fight with some werewolves.
Not quite what I was trying to describe. Okay.
Sorry, you paused. I thought you were waiting for me to add. Continue.
No, I was just trying to say that while she's trying to describe to him the son, it's sort of like I don't know, like in an eyewitness testimony sort of thing, where they try to get people to give away whether they're believing them. So when she's like showing the height of the sun and she's like measuring her hand against her body, she will look for subconscious, insightful clues on the Burgermeister. If he's like, oh yes, that is the height of my son. So she'll be like, yes, he came to about here, but he was dead, sort of thing. Perhaps
If
I'm
my
not
son
describing it
is
very well.
dead, I will need vengeance. Kiro is their pack leader. Bring me his head, and I will offer you all favors.
Was that the name of the one that we just killed?
Correct. Not the one that we just killed, but it's the leader.
Got
We
information
haven't
that he
killed
is the leader.
Yes.
We have
It-
already killed him.
No, that's
No.
that's what the scene before him when we had that werewolf tied up. That's what he told us. Is that he's the leader, and where to go find him.
In doing so, and understanding that, I step forward, and Raziel says, in order for vengeance and justice to be had, respite must be upheld. We will go find your child, if we can. As you've seen, we have met their forces. We will vanquish them. But in order to do so, we must spit. Please. And Raziel gets into like a one knee, kind of like a bow of honorance. Give us such boons.
We can provide your group food and firewood, but the doors will not open until the head of Kiro is brought to me.
I can address Raziel and Esme. Well, it seems like there's no talking or wheeling out of this. This group, I'm kind of just talking to the group hastily, not trying to like be heard by him. It seems like our option is already along our path. These werewolves are hunting us. This is also our entry into Kresik. Seems like we can kill 2 wolves with 1 giant hammer, I guess. She kind of awkwardly thinks about her own metaphor.
Naturally, seems like the logical conclusion.
Let us take respite outside. They will provide us food, and perhaps can get the necessary resources we need.
Sure we will. That's good enough for now. And we can check this werewolf issue off our list before getting back on track. And I don't think we'll be able to move as freely as we want in Barovia with this pack on our heels. So we might as well get a reward for it. And I'm kind of trying to appeal to Esme's side, really, with that.
We may need to ask for warm clothes too. That wouldn't be a bad idea if they're willing to give us food and firewood. Let's push the envelope a little bit and see if they can give us that much as well.
If they don't, I'm quite willing to go in and take what we need for ourselves. We'll need silvered weapons also. I'm not going to be the only one that can actually do something against these things. And she's sort of mumbling in quite a frustrated tone, like she's really angry and quite furious that she hasn't managed to infiltrate the gates.
Well, I don't think we'd all need silver weapons. I think for the most part, we all wield weaponry that is useful against werewolves. Calliope has her magic weapons and her silver sword. I wield magic as well. I kind of look about the group. I believe all of us magically imbue or attack enemies. I don't think silver is as pressing for us as it is for you. So, we might want to withhold on asking for too much. Warm clothes, food, and firewood, shelter for the night is enough. We'll eradicate these wolves, and then, dear Esme, we'll ask for a proper reward. Without pushing the envelope.
I don't want a reward. I want a comfy bed for the night. I'm sick of this chill.
Well, it seems like that is the only reward they are offering. So, let us oblige.
They could offer more if they were so inclined to open their doors.
I understand your frustration. This is a little out of our way, but it seems we have no other choice. So, without even waiting, I turn. We agree. Well, at least I think some of us do. I kind of turn to Sunny, seeing what he's idly doing. Most of us do. Provided you can give us some kind of provisions for the journey. Food, resources, and warm clothing would be much appreciated. We weren't as equipped for this terrain as we thought. Is that acceptable?
Dimitri seems to be thinking for a moment, running his fingers through the short goatee on his chin, before he pulls his hood back up against the wind and the cold. We have only what is within these walls, but we will provide you what you have asked for, with the hope that we see something in return. The fact you carry that amulet is the only reason you are even being given anything at all.
Understand. Thank you. And you have my word that we will bring some kind of evidence of your son's fate back here. I kind of give him another low bow.
Yes.
We will bring your son back. Vengeance is but a wing on the bird of redemption. I give a sideways glance at Talandra.
Esme, you see a tear run down the cheek of the Lord Dimitri as he pulls his heavy mantle close about his body and he nods his head. Find my son. We will lower your supplies. Give us some time to get everything prepared. We thank you for your news of the Martikovs, though grim as it is. And he turns, and you watch as he disappears behind the stone walls of the stone wall. The palisade. Oh, thank you. Yes.
Stone
No,
walls
palisade
of
is
stone
like
wall.
wood and spice. It doesn't matter. He disappears behind the stone of the wall.
There's a word.
His son is found alive. I'll make sure that we deliver him back dead. Stupid traditions. Ancient rules. Do they not know that we are key to saving them from this entire place?
No.
Are you even keen on doing such a thing, Esme? Or are you just here to get what you want and leave? Are they the fool? They seem
You'd
to
be
be
wise
surviving.
not to call me the fool, Talandra.
I
She
asked you a
goes and...
question. Nothing. Continue.
No, she began to sort of leave, but stops in her step and
Mhm.
looks over.
No, I'm just like, nothing. Like, literally just to cut myself off. Like, nothing at all.
No, you can ask me.
Why are you here? You seem to have such a disdain. It seems you didn't come here for any kind of purpose or reason. So why? Why continue?
How can
Why
I
not
make
you?
it clearer? Strahd must die.
Yes, but you're obviously not the one to do it. I'm sorry to say.
And do you think you are? And even when he's dead, how do you expect to leave this place? You are trapped. I can at least traverse these mists, unlike you. You might think that I'm not the one to do it. And be that as that may be, neither are you. You do not know enough of him. And frankly, you do not give him enough credit. As it pains me to say, it's actually my mentor that will be key to ridding that beast from the castle. And every day we spend wrangling hounds and helping some man who can't even look after his own kin. Every day we do that, another innocent dies. And we could just be at the castle, finding Van Richten. But no, we're pest control.
You're right. We do tend to spend a lot of our time trying to heal the wounds of Strahd instead of outright killing him. That is true. But if we do just simply go to Castle Ravenloft and let ourselves die at his mercy, well, I don't see the point of inheriting a broken Barovia. I don't see the point of doing any of this. And Solandra kind of starts to get kind of flustered and frustrated. Doing any of this, why are we even here if it's not to help the people of this place? Though that's what matters. Curing the cursed, healing the wounded, at least for now.
You feel a gentle hand on your shoulder, and my voice behind you in your not sensually in your ear, but a little bit sensual, maybe behind you in your ear.
Softly, just gently.
Right.
Softly is
My
a thing.
All right, Talandra. None of us chose to come here. Maybe we don't all share your mission. I am here to survive, and maybe our mission isn't to be some sort of heroes or saviors. Maybe that's not all of our faiths.
I just don't think, Sonny, that we were brought here for no reason. For just the simple fact that we stumbled here. I refuse to believe that. That would make
Hundreds, if
Isla's
not-
death and Kor's disappearance worthless.
You were brought
Hundreds,
here
if
as
not
pawns.
thousands. Exactly. Hundreds, if not thousands, of others have come before us here and been killed before us. I'm not saying we can't save this place, but I don't know. I don't know if we'll be able to. But that shouldn't stop us from trying.
Just as the hope,
Sorry.
just as the hope keeps me warm here, and it keeps me from falling to despair. I can't believe that Isla died in vain. I have to make it mean something.
You hear the creaking of a winch as ropes and pulleys are set, and you see a bundle of furs wrapped around something within being lowered down.
It seems our supplies are here anyway. Come on. Let's get what we need and head on.
Alright. So, those of you who go to open the bundle of furs find there are 6 sets of warm weather clothes inside. Enough rations to sustain your party for 3 days. So, 18 rations. Some water, warm, within some, what would it be called? Like a ceramic jug, like an insulated ceramic jug, as insulated as it gets, with it.
Yeah.
So some nice warm water, and 2 tents made from leather, like poles and enough to pinch, like some shelter. And within, enough firewood to keep you for the night, and perhaps if packed away, 1 more night's worth of firewood.
Okay, and we lost our firewood when we lost the cart, I believe, correct?
Calliope packed, I believe, a few days worth of firewood on her pack before we carried.
Okay. All right.
I think we already used that because it's no longer in my inventory.
Fair enough. You did do a few days of camping within those ancient grove, but there was enough kindling and firewood within the ancient growth where you did not need to burn your supply. So I'm going to say, Calliope, you still have 2 days worth of firewood on top of this potential extra day's worth if you burn a fire and camp here within the, I guess the shadows of this wall.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. Well, it seems like this is going to be as much as we're going to get from these people. Which is more than I was expecting, if I'm being honest. So, and I kind of look about the supplies, divide them, the warm clothes to Sunny and myself and the others who kind of need. We're like using blankets and spells and whatnot.
So, as you unravel the warm clothes, within a nice warm cloak that had been folded up, find a parchment. On it is a very simple, in charcoal, scrolled, "Got anything to trade?" And peering up from your place beneath the wall, you see 2 guards leaning over the wall.
I kind of show the note to the group and with like a shrug, kind of motion. I don't know. Seems like we've collected quite a few things. Does anyone have anything they're trying to offload?
Not trading with any that won't let me in their gates for at least a night. They can sort off.
Oh, Esme.
Soda.
Well, anyone else? Otherwise, I can't think of anything. I'm quite slim myself. I'm low on a few spell components.
I
Same
doubt those two would have
sausages.
spell components.
Oh, maybe.
What is
I can't-
amongst the rations looks to be like dried meats. There are some grains, but it's very, very lean. It's not the most appetizing. But the mention of sausages.
Yeah. Not quite what I was thinking, but I think we should make camp. That's the only. I mean, should we make a camp under the wall or travel on? Is it late, DM?
It's about evening now. If there was a sun, you would feel it setting in the horizon. So it's more like the gray glow of Barovia is just like sort of turning down its dim lights. And the clouds above are starting to thin in part, which is almost like this world's version of a setting sun. As every now and then, when the sun is gone, there is the peak of like a full or crescent moon that climbs into the Barovian sky. No stars, but there is like the symbolage of a pale moon that hangs in the sky of Barovia at night. So you see the clouds beginning to thin, and that gray glow of the translucent sky also begins to dim. It is evening, late evening.
Okay. Well, anyone have an idea of where we should settle for the night?
I agree with you on your first suggestion. By the wall, it'll provide some shelter from the wind.
Anyone else?
I say take a moment for respite for the evening. They want their justice and vengeance, and perhaps peace. For the night, we don't need to go in. But unfortunately, we do have vanquish.
Okay, well. Anyone else have an idea? We have probably one for continue on and one for sleep.
I'd rather continue. If we sleep outside, I can't promise I won't try to sneak my way beyond the walls and just take what we need before heading out of this horribly cold land.
Well, I do appreciate your honesty. Thank you.
Speaking of horribly cold, nope, never mind. Sunny and Raziel are still prestidigitating themselves periodically. So you're all somewhat warm, so never mind.
I think I divided the warm clothes amongst everybody as well, right?
Oh, true. Are you guys beginning to put on your warm clothes?
I am putting on my long johns that are too big for me.
They do consist of woolen undergarments, heavy fur coats, which look like they're made from like wolf hide, with dark grays and dark blacks, and very, very thick, rough coats for the furs. But there are these heavy mantles and shawls and cloaks that would wrap around your normal garments. And within are also woolen heavy scarves and leather and woolen gloves, where it has like a woolen lining and the exterior is a nice leather. Rough, but well sewn. Well,
So you turn around and you see me wearing this, and you laugh, or maybe not you laugh, but you realize that this is the least disheveled that Sonny has looked since he met him. This is the best, cleanest he's looked, and in these old, secondhand winter clothes.
I could get used to this, Suddy. I could get used to this look on you.
Oh, don't make me cast an illusion to hide myself. I'm
Disguise self as yourself.
exactly home murder hobo version.
Well,
There
yeah.
are also 6 set of snow boots. Not like boots, but like snowshoes, excuse me.
They
From,
boots
like,
with the fur.
boots with the fur. There's some
Jesus
apple bottom
Christ.
jeans as well.
I hate you so much. Oh god, so stupid.
They keep you.
I'm
nice
setting up my
and
own
warm.
personal
Sonny
set, by
got
the way.
low.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Raz, you're making camp?
Well,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna make
We are
camp a
getting
little
low.
far.
Oh.
We're gonna I hate you guys so much. Yeah, I think we're gonna get a little farther away from the city first, so we'll maybe travel for a couple hours, I think.
Oh, okay. A couple hours will put you back in the Svalek woods.
I think that's probably better shelter from the snow. At least in
well.
the direction that we're going.
Just make us sitting ducks for the wolves. I love this plan for us.
Honestly, staying next to the wall, kind of off of the gate, would show that we're willing to be watched. We could we could watch their gate. There's more security here. There are reasons to stay here.
Okay. I think we've heard from everybody. I agree. I think staying near the wall is going to be the best bet for the night. If Esme can please refrain from using her sticky fingers and just holding to our agreement.
You'd have to get
Or
inside first.
Bring him back his son. It wasn't to tell me and dictate my actions in the meantime.
This is true. But if you could refrain, just for the night. And then when we get in...
No, I can just get what we need and we can go. He can find his own son. I didn't birth the little gross monster.
Oh, you are just so pleasant. You make me miss Isla.
You make me miss Isla.
Esme,
I think this island sounds quite fantastic based on all of the
don't-
wonderful things you have said.
Braziel actually does say it. Esme, don't tell me you aren't seeing this like a giant dragon chessboard.
Oh
my
my
Do you
fucking
think
god.
that you're a bishop or a knight?
Can I kick
Not
him in the groin? I would like to aim
Oh,
try.
line
Go for it.
This
Try.
is
kick to the
amazing.
groin as he turns to her. And the second that dragon chess is mentioned, I want her leg to just spring out and shut him up. Please.
Oh, it's amazing.
All right, PvP. Here we go. Roll your attack.
He's like,
Your
"You're
unarmed
attacking."
attack. He's
Would
Roll
it
your
be
unarmed
off?
kick.
5 silver on Raz.
Against
5
his
silver.
AC.
Yep, it's against his AC 16. What's your
God
AC?
damn it!
God damn it!
Beats it.
God
I'm a
damn it, he
50.
says.
You get kicked squaw.
All right, well, it's a 1d4 plus your dex.
Love you, Jared,
'cause it
I'm
was
so sorry.
swift.
Oh.
I love
No, you're not.
you.
You, Jared, you're about to lose 1d4 plus 4 testicles.
That's true. Who knows how many tieflings have?
Two.
It might be
Just
2. We
Two
can't have this
testicles.
CBT on YouTube. We'll get banned.
In my like halfway through my rant,
I kind of just... I just have my mouth hanging open in
Amazing.
absolute shock. Just,
Well, you can't tell me you want to listen to another one of these bloody metaphors.
Raziel, are you okay? I can't. And like, as you see, like she's like I'm like trying to, almost like I would like, pick at someone's like covered wound. I'm like, but like I can't. I don't know how to heal you. I like as someone who has like never interacted with a wiener or a damaged one at that.
Yeah, Richard
I just get up
and as he
and
does,
start.
he casts lay on hands.
grabs him by the nuts and casts lay on hands.
Just like picking it up by his like armpits, like okay, here we go. As he would like a small man child.
You cradle his fucking jewels. Cast lay on
Cups
hands.
them gently in his giant hand.
Your balls are hurt, and then they're fine again, because bro power.
Oh my
Calliope is
Like,
right
your
there.
He looks at Esme and
your
says,
him
power-
picks you up, and your balls
Oh,
feel better.
I'm
The
upset.
power
I just go
of the
back to.
based Chad.
I just go back to making my 10. I stopped that right then, right there.
That was a bishop
move
of you.
I love how Raziel just shuts up and like sheepishly goes back to making his tent. I know.
That was very queen of you.
Oh, that was very boss bitch of you.
Oh,
Boss
that was
babe,
like,
actually.
that was like you moved all the way across the chessboard.
Alice.
He just
I'm just a
falls over
pawn
like a
to you, my
cartoon.
queen.
My
Checkmate.
queen.
follow through.
Damn,
Checkmate and falls
Damn,
over.
That was kind of hot. All right.
All right.
Here we go.
Calliope
So,
now also
setting up camp.
Setting up camp.
Setting up camp after that.
After
Mind-blowing
that,
incident.
after that. The people on the wall are like, I'm glad we didn't let them in.
I know, they're like kicking each other in the dick.
Fuck are they
Is this
doing?
like a weird like I don't know, like a bonding ritual they do or something?
All right. Camp is pitched. Calliope and others light the fire, though it's probably mostly Calliope because she's camp mama.
Why?
Camp mother bear. I don't know. I'm not trying to power game you. I've just been playing with you for 100 sessions. Is that what Calliope does? Or...
Yes, and sets a pot of snow on the fire. To
I
boil.
knew it.
Get out of my head.
No, I'm in
To
your
the
head and I love
horses.
it. Cozy in here.
Oh, so
And Richard sets the horse.
What do you know? It's almost like we have jobs.
Yeah.
Can we get the blanket for the horses? Can they buddy up to each other and we throw something over? Is that what horses need? Calliope
We
asks.
have warm clothes. We can use those blankets that we've been using for the horses.
I agree.
Uh-huh. That's so cozy.
Warm
It's
up them
snowing,
horses.
but like
Some
there's
Horses are
steam
like weasels.
coming
You
out
want
of like
to be warm.
the horses' noses. It's like some Montana wintertime shit. The beautiful mountains in the background, as misty and dark as it's becoming.
I'm just imagining fucking like the North in Game of Thrones.
It's very northern. It's very
Yeah.
cold. It's fresh snow. It's a little bit different than certainly what you've been experiencing within the bowl of the valley. You're up higher for certain, way up high, about like halfway up to the peak of Mount Baratok, you'd imagine. So
Wow.
Mount Baratok probably sits about like 15,000 feet above sea level. Like it's a very tall mountain. The two peaks north and south within the Barovia Valley are very tall peaks, cold and snow-capped. And while you are still just like kind of climbing those slopes that would reach up to Mount Baratok's peak eventually, you have reached that level of like cold chilliness where the tree line has become thin and almost 100% dominated by the pine trees that exist on that higher slope, that higher altitude. And perhaps perhaps the village, there we go, that's the right V word. The village of Krezik was built here specifically because of the altitude and the chill, keeping most things at bay. Aside from, of course, the hulking fur-covered where seem to be stalking both you and the nearby forest. So,
Nice.
your camp is set, your fire is started, and that snow begins to melt within the kettle of Calliope that she set on top of the fire. Warm clothes are donned, and the horses are attended to. And night begins to set within the Barovian Valley, even high up here on the mountain slopes, just outside the village of Kresik, where, despite Lord Dimitri's demeanor, his strong words, you felt a sense of perhaps relief at your arrival. Perhaps there's a bit of hope, and that light you brought, though still outside the walls of Kresik, could be brought within the lives of those trapped here in the valley, trying to make the best of it. So you camp here for the night. Is there anything you would like to do before setting up a watch?
You see Calliope filling her water skins with the warm water and preparing to throw those under her pillow.
Nice.
I just kind of do my basic prayers and rituals in order to prepare my spells and everything for the next day.
Can I make some things of my alchemist supplies, please?
Absolutely.
Useful wolf things. I don't really know what they do. This is my first time using them, but I would like to use them to do that.
Useful wolf thing.
You know what's funny is when we started this campaign,
I
we
know.
came and I actually bought supplies for Wolfsbane potion.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
So I do have the reagents needed for Wolfsbane potion.
Oh. Well, on that note, Esme begins to unpack, and it's very sort of methodological as she does it. She sets it out quite linear-like, her little supply kit. She probably has like little beakers and glass potions and little rustic test tubes. I love a rustic test tube. New brand name.
My mind is, I'm imagining it. It's very,
That's a steampunk. That's a steampunk man right there.
100%. But welcome to D&D. There's a little bit of steampunkiness intrinsic to it.
I love that. Like, I would make a steampunk ska band called Rustic Test Tube.
Rustic Test Tube. Okay, I get it. It's a little rough, but they are what they are, and they serve their purpose. Absolutely.
The band or the actual tubes?
No, not your goddamn band. the alchemist.
I honestly thought you were reviewing the band.
Yeah,
no,
like,
goddamn
he's being
it.
awfully critical of
I was
our
like,
band.
I was like, hey
anything about
man,
your
like
band.
they do their best, all right, bro. They're like 21.
Get out of here with your band.
They're just practicing outside of their parents' garage. Like, geez, give them a
I
break.
mean, all the power to them. But back to what you're making with your alchemist. So this Wolfsbane potion, describe it to me as you walk over to Esme, seeing her sort of dispense her rustic test tubes and set up her potion making kit. I'm assuming you're using the fire that is also like fueling the kettle and melting.
Yeah,
the
she's set
snow
up
melt.
right, like in the center of the camp,
Yeah.
right by the fire. She knows she's got to like boil some shit in her rustic test tubes.
Absolutely. So
What's that
there's a bit
name?
of commotion around the campfire with Calliope melting snow and you
Hydration.
setting up your Esme alchemist kit.
Yeah,
No, go ahead.
I just hand Esme over the reagents. I think these might help. I, oddly enough, collected these. That seems like a lifetime ago. I hand you the now crumpled up, and it looks like an old bagel that's been in the back of your car. It's just like crumpled up in the bag that the shop owner gave it to me in after I like forgot about it at the bottom of my bag, and you find just some like mostly dried flowers and whatever the other ingredient was. It was like a flower and something else. But I never spent all my money on it. And I hand that over to you.
I am off in the shadows, just quietly planting a plant.
Planting a plant?
He's
Planting a
planting
seed.
everyone.
So kind of like scooping the snow back and like finding the soil beneath and like planting.
Yeah, dig a little hole and
Oh.
replace the dirt with some of my soil, and I sit there and I just that's all I'm doing for now.
Okay.
Plant your seed, Dad.
Sonny is planting his seed.
And I am opening Talandra's pouch
All
to
right.
make
fuck
use
you.
of.
You
And yeah,
recognize the components of a wolfsbane potion, Esme, being a monster hunter, but what does it do? Talandra, what does it do?
I am looking that up.
Okay. Is it like a holy water, but for where?
There we go. Oh, here, yeah. As a poison, wolfsbane has the same effect as ground thistle root. Lycanthropes experience a feeling of discomfort when near the wolfsbane, and any lycanthrope has to roll a DC 15 or DC 17 or lower, and cannot willingly enter a square or adjacent to wolfsbane.
It was
What
like
does
wolf
what does the
repellent.
potion do?
I'm having a hard time finding.
Interesting.
I don't think it's
Okay.
actually an official potion. I think it's a
Oh,
poison.
I see.
Yeah,
A
I believe it's
poison.
poison that is it's a flower that's poisonous, and I figured it could be distilled into something that could be coated on.
Okay.
Yeah, see, when mixed with bait devoured by a wolf or put on arrowheads, knives, or swords, the
Ooh.
toxin is fatal.
Is it? Okay. Well then, let's look at something else. It instantly kills them.
Well, yeah, obviously it's not an instant kill.
Right. Okay. If coated on a weapon or a piece of ammunition, not only does it count as silver, despite non-magical or non-silver qualities, it also applies a 1d8 to werewolves. And if coated on a blade, it lasts for 1 hour. Or a piece of ammunition, it also lasts for 1 hour.
So if it's on top of a silver crossbow bolt, it'll do a little bit extra damage.
It will do a little bit extra damage. On top of a regular bolt, it will also do a little bit of extra damage. It's like an enhanced silver attribute. Not only does it do damage to werewolves, it will do a little bit extra as if it's radiant damage against an undead. So while it does not apply a fatal effect, it applies extra damage to specific weapons coated with it.
Homebrew on the spot.
a little bit of homebrew. That's what the dungeon master is for.
And I will cook that up.
Okay. With the materials provided from Talandra, roll a 1d4 as you cook it up to see how many different coatings you apply. Or produce enough to...
What?
That's wonderful. I love that. So, this can be applied to 4 different weapons. One coating can technically be applied to 5 different pieces of ammunition or 1 melee weapon.
So, if I understand correctly, if Esme has one of these 4, she would be able to coat 5 of her crossbow bolts.
Correct. And they would get a 1d8 extra damage against lycanthrope.
Wow. I want to give some to Talandra because she gave me the ingredients, but Talandra's all like, well,
Nope,
you're the
coat
one that needs
all your
extra
bolts.
stuff.
Yeah.
Magic.
Yeah, I would have denied it anyway, you bossy little butt.
That's not the B word.
Well, yeah.
I know the B word she was looking for. Maybe also a
Bazinga.
C word.
Yeah.
It was not Bazinga. But yeah.
Bazinga. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't need I don't need it. I got my radiant power. You keep
All right.
it.
You have 4 coatings of wolfsbane. Any one of these coatings could also technically be made into a tincture, which is a throwable, which would do 3d8 to one target upon being hit with. Sort of like an acid that applies against like a contact. But it'd be a one-time use. And not continuous damage, just one.
I like that, but I also don't trust our throwing capabilities.
I just read something cool, kind of cool. It's homebrewy. You could somebody was making wolfsbane vials where if you drank it, you could stave off lycanthropy for a night.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting thought. Kind of
Okay, sure. It can also be used as a medicine to stave off lycanthropy if you cannot get to a remove cure. Hold on, I can use words. A remove curse.
There it is.
I did it. I kept wanting to say curs. Remove curs.
Remove curds.
Shut up.
Remove all the cheese curds.
No, I love
But
cheese curds.
poutine!
Keep them.
I'm lactose intolerant.
No.
No
man.
curds.
Okay, so
No curds for you. Sorry.
you're camping. You're resting. Alchemy is being done. Snow is melted. Nice hot boiling water has come from the snow, if that's what you would like. The horses are taken care of and fed. Is there anything else anyone would like to do?
Calliope says to no one in particular, just around camp, who has first watch?
We need a watch schedule. I mean, we are outside the gates of a well-defended wall. I mean, I think tonight we can risk sleeping easy, don't you think?
What are
Where's
your
the
feelings
nearest
about
tree?
that?
Brazil?
Oh, I was just saying, where's the nearest tree? And how high is it?
It's about 100 yards out from the walls. And it's a very tall pine tree, and though the branches on it are bare. I'd say it's about 60 feet at its very top. When the branches begin to get thin, about 30 feet up. So it's a good distance away from your camp that you've set any sort of tree. Although there are lots of trees, actually, now that you're paying attention, beyond the wall. It's almost like there's its own thick forest within the walls of Krezik. That spindly wisps of smoke rise up in between. You see rooftops, but it's thick with trees, as if they're growing a grove purposefully within the wall.
I'll go up that 30 feet and yell down at Calliope. I'll take first watch.
You
And
would have to
I will
shout very, very
yell.
loud, since you're 100 yards
Okay,
away.
I don't mind.
You're
I will-
across
I
a
will-
field. Yeah.
I will shout, and I'll specifically use thaumaturgy to make
You
the
notice
voice louder.
Erebus has settled beneath the tree under you as well, and disappears into the shadows and the snow. So you can see like an indent of his warmth still radiating and melting the snow underneath his body.
Well, if Raziel has first watch, we'll see who he picks for second, since we didn't make that agreement before you started scrambling up a tree like a cat. With that note, you see Calliope crawl into her tent with her nice warm water bottles.
Calandra is still kind of. I'm still awake, so I'll take the second watch after Raziel. I'll just hang around.
Sunny will help, but I'm not going to speak up and volunteer. I think at this point everyone knows that I'm not going to really sleep, so I'm just tending to my little garden over here. I'll keep an eye out though as well.
All right.
Alrighty.
We have a first, a second, and sort of a third watch. Everyone else go in and settle into the warm fur tents, which, despite the roaring fire, is very, very cozy inside, with the snow still falling slowly outside, exterior, your tents. Is there anything else anyone would like to do before we begin the night?
I don't know how long it takes for Esme to make the potion.
It takes 1 hour of work to make the potion. The night even begins. Sort of something before the watcher sleep. She has her 4 coatings, though what we coat is still up to everybody, or you.
Well, it only has like an hour, does it not, once it's applied? Can she not like keep them?
She can keep them. The hour starts once they're applied. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. So she will sort of bottle up, and once she's done with the alchemy kit, put it together, and if there's time to sleep, she will, but otherwise she'll be waiting for the darkest point of the night to maybe look inside the village a little bit.
She knows she'll have to scale the wall, as she's scouted this village a little bit in the past.
She's very acrobatically talented. She's not afraid.
Extremely
So
acrobatic.
I'm hanging out specifically for this reason. Normally, I always go in my tent. You know this.
True.
So I am kind of watching Esme to the best of my ability.
As Esme sort of notices Talandra still awake, please don't stay up on my throat. I'm quite capable with these potions.
I promise you, I am simply tending to the fire and keeping our camp warm. And Talandra's a horrible liar.
But would you not prefer the calm, warm, fur-lined camp?
Would you not prefer the corn? Sorry.
Corn.
No, I'm fine. Truly, I'm warm in these clothes, and I'm still a little hungry, so I'm gonna make myself something, and like I said, I'm gonna tend the fire. So continue doing what you're doing. I don't mean to interrupt or intrude.
Oh well, you see, I'm quite done. I made 4 quite remarkable, if I may say so myself, little wolfsbane.
I'm sure you would say so yourself,
because you are ever so generous, and with that generosity, you should take a load off and find yourself.
That doesn't make any sense, but I understand what you're trying to say, and I'm totally, completely grateful, but I'm fine. So continue to rummage about the camp, and I'll be right here if you need me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess I will beg my leave, and I too shall.
Oh, where are you going?
The proverbial. I'm just going inside the tent here. Just going to go to sleep. Just inside here.
Sure. Yeah. Of course. Okay.
Totally. So I'll be in here. If you need me, I will be right in here.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, where else would you be?
Exactly. I mean, there's nowhere else we could go in this snowy, desolate hellhole that we find ourselves in. So, not that you will, and I do.
No, not that you will either.
I wouldn't even dream of it. But I do require my beauty sleep, so I'll be in there. Try not to disturb me. But if you really need
I wouldn't dream of it.
I know you wouldn't. So I'll be up. I'll go in here right now. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Good night.
Night.
In I go.
Bye.
So as soon as she's inside the tent, on the other side, can I lift the bottom up and pull me down?
I swear to God, and I promise you on my life, I'm not metagaming. I was about to say Talandra walks around to the back of the tent. I promise you, I was about to say that. I was like waiting, and then you
roll a stealth check, Esmeralda, please.
I would like to be watching this from my vantage.
From 100 yards away.
Oh yeah, I've got 120 dark vision.
Roll perception check, Raziel. Talandra, also roll a perception check.
No problem.
Thanks. All right. Well, Talandra, you see as Esmeralda not only doesn't come out the back of the tent, you watch as she she knew that you would know that she was going to come out the back of the tent, so she's going to come out the front of the tent.
That's
So
horseshit.
she went
That
out
is
the front of the tent,
horseshit.
but then you kind of knew that she's going to come out of the front of the tent anyway, so you thought about going to the back of the tent, but really you stood at the front of the tent, and Esmeralda peeked out of the front of the tent. She saw
Okay.
you, and Esmeralda, you see that Talandra sees you.
I'm just kind of standing there with my arms crossed, and like have like seen her like go back and forth and like inside the swing of the tent, like, you know, just kind of shift and then like stop for
She's
a second.
about to open up the
and then-
back,
and then scurry
to the
from one
front.
to the other side.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of sitting there like, huh. And yeah, so I'm just standing with my arms crossed, like staring down at you.
Down at me.
Well, I assume you're kind of like crawling out of your tent, like the dog. You know, I just mean sorry. No, I assume
I'm
you
more
like
of a
her.
feline, thank you very much.
I don't know if it's
You're
is the
crawling
tent
out
like,
on your belly.
Yeah, actually, so Esmeralda is watching the back, thinking that's where Talandra is now sitting. So she's actually walking backwards out of the front of the tent. So
Okay.
as she's
oh
backing
my
up,
god, here
her
we
butt
go.
boops Talandra, and she just sort of freezes and turns around, and she has that very much hand trapped in the cookie jar look, like any 6-year-old would give you if you catch them doing literally anything that they know specifically they are not supposed to be
Oh,
doing.
I know the look.
Oh.
So, beauty sleep.
Well, I actually took a look in the mirror, you see, and I thought, actually, I don't need the beauty sleep. I will, right, I'll get right back to making more really useful potions. So
Or maybe you could just get some regular sleep.
I could totally do that, yes.
You should totally do that. Yeah.
I should absolutely do that. You are quite
And
right.
you guys, there's like the mother hen energy that Talandra like carries about her is like it's Super Saiyan 2 right now. She's like it's like when a mom catches you and she's furious and you know, but she's being like super nice because she's
that's the
so
worst.
furious and it's caught you
She's
so red-handed.
So
Like
as,
she-
this,
Yeah, go
as this
ahead.
exchange is going on, I look over my shoulder slowly and open my eyes slowly. Whatever you're going to do, please figure it out and do it quietly. I'm trying to figure something out over here. And I look forward slowly again. And as your eyes are probably now focused on me, you would see that the firelight is casting a shadow from behind me as it's at my back. A gentle shadow as I'm more than 10 or 15 feet from the fire. But there are small shadows dancing in a circle, not just one that you would see would be cast from Acorn Buddy, but 2 others as well. And that is all.
I would normally be interested, but I'm having to police what I would assume is a 30-year-old.
Listen up.
So, please,
I was
quietly.
just going to get you some sausage as a thank you. And at that, Esmeralda like stomps her feet and like dives into the blankets, and she pulls them up to like just under her nose, and it's her eyebrows are so furious, and she's like shaking with seething anger as she's been caught very red-handed.
I kind of, instead of like feeling sanctimonious in my victory, I kind of feel bad. I'm like, oh, she was just trying to do something nice, and in my typical hard-ass way, I didn't want her to rob the town that we're currently trying to, purchase on like friendship with. But
I mean, I was going to do that too, but the sausage.
I do appreciate the gesture and realize that Esme is very sweet in her own way. And then I kind of resume my half watch until my actual watch starts. Because I don't know if stomping off and huffing off and being a brat is another tactic of Esme's.
She still might sneak out.
Exactly. And so I'm like, I feel bad, but is this also is she manipulating me?
All right.
I feel a little bit manipulated here. I'm not gonna lie.
With Delandra watching over Esme's tent, and Esme furrowing her brows within her bedrolls. Calliope and Richard sort of finishing up the touches of the campsite before settling in themselves. Raziel watching the campsite from afar within the trees with his ever-present shadowy guard dog Erebus. Everyone settles in within the shadows of the Krezk village, their strange, shut-in population, setting them on a quest to find the whereabouts of Isaac Krakov, the last son of Dmitri. And perhaps next week is when we will find out if you track down the son and the werewolves or not. Because we'll take a stop for now, and we'll continue next week with some more D&D.
Sounds good to me.
That was
Nice.
fun.
Thank you, thank
That
you.
was awesome.
That was good.
Excellent session.
That was a really good sesh.
Hell yeah.
I like the interview.